Let's now take you to Gbenyiri because the Member of Parliament for Wild West, Peter Lanchene-Tobo, has paid a courtesy call on chiefs in Tuna, Kalba and Sola in the Sola, Tuna, Kalba district of the Savannah region as part of efforts to help restore peace in Gbenyiri and its surrounding communities. Now, the MP, who was accompanied by the Dagaba chief and elders based in the Savannah region, has been speaking and explaining what the visit actually was about.
So I found it necessary to join my brothers from the other district who are just right standing behind me. And we need to make some moves. So as we stand, we are going to visit Tuna, pay a courtesy call on him, take some pieces of advice, golden nuggets of course, and we'll move to console our brother, the Kalbaura. I know everybody living within the Kalba chiefdom are sons and daughters of Kalbaura. If he loses one soul, it's painful. And we need to go and so console him. From there, we are going to move to Solaura. And we'll do what is necessary. But all we are saying is that let there be peace. All we are saying is that let's reflect on history and ensure that our peaceful coexistence can be reactivated once again. We don't need this. Our enemy is poverty. Our enemy is deprivation. Our enemy is lack of development. I'm sure if you travel from Accra to Tuna, as I stand here and you pass through the road, you will appreciate the fact that the enemy is not one of your brothers. Your enemy is not one of your sisters. Your enemy is to ensure that this place develops.
Well, at the Tuna Palace, the chief of Tuna, Safo Amantana, welcomed the MP's intervention and assured him of his commitment to ensuring peace returns to Tuna and its enclave. He further appealed to all parties in the conflict to embrace peace and lay down their weapons.
This fight, I emphasize, is needless, completely needless. If you take our situation, our poverty situation, if you consider it, you will never fight anybody. Why should we fight? And like I said, which I'll repeat, let's give what is Caesar to Caesar and what is the Lord's the Lord. And let everybody be in his or her lane so that there will be no foul play. Even in boxing, there's foul in boxing. Let us stay at peace. I appeal to everybody here in this constituency, and particularly in my town here and environment, that no fights, peace, let's love one another. Let's grow, let's develop as a people so that our health, our roads, our schools, even what we eat will improve.
Away from the cocoa may be Ghana's economic lifeline, but its processing remains one of the most energy-hungry stages of the value chain. Producing a single kilogram of chocolate generates an alarming 13.7 kilograms of CO2 emission. At the Climate Talks dialogue held yesterday at Fair Africa, Ghana, experts urged cocoa processors and farmers to embrace energy efficiency and waste-to-energy practices that will not only protect the environment, but also secure Ghana's global competitiveness. There's more in the following report.
Ghana's cocoa sector must go green and fast. This was revealed at the Climate Talks dialogue, where the managing director of Fair Africa, Michael Mamonham, urged regulators and processors to ditch the culture of fault-finding and embrace collaboration, warning that only shared responsibility can drive real accountability and sustainable waste solution in cocoa processing.
There indeed isn't a clear demonstration of support for compliance, and rather it is a situation of having to find faults. The cost of implementation of these innovative waste management and energy efficiency models must be truly just on the books of the processor. And so you're asking yourself, because at the end of the day, the key objective of every business is also to make. We do not take it lightly when we partner regulators and other support groups like Rebuild, for example, who are providing funds for us to buy cocoa from cooperatives that are inculcating dynamic agroforestry practices.
On her part, Acting Director of the Ghana National Cleaner Production Center, Letitia Abrakom-Yaba, stressed the urgency for processors to research, invest, and commercialize waste-to-energy solutions.
Our shells, most of the companies are using them to fire their boilers, their furnaces, but the residue that comes from it is ash. Sorry, I'm going to the waste management thing, but it also provides an opportunity. That ash contains a lot of potassium that can also serve as fertilizer. So there should be research, and then there should be investment, and then let's see how we can commercialize these outputs from our processes for our industry.
The Acting Director General of Monitoring and Evaluation at Cocoa Board outlined Waste to Wealth initiative, including recycling cocoa husk and ponds as practical ways to sustain farmers' livelihood, especially for those whose income are cut short by diseased trees.
However, the pod itself can go through the potash, can turn into potash, which is also used as animal feed, can also be used as fertilizers, livestock fertilizers, and can also be turned into soap usage, which we consider as a livelihood, additional livelihood for the cocoa farmer.
The future for green cocoa processing is a gradual stage, but today's dialogue makes clear that Ghana must start now through collaboration, innovation and investment to secure both the environment and the competitiveness of its cocoa industry.
Still on the environment, the Minister of State for Climate Change and Sustainability, Isifu Seidu, is calling on African leaders to unite in demanding debt relief mechanisms to fund climate action. According to him, the continent cannot be expected to finance solutions to a crisis it contributes the least to. He made a call at the Watch for Climate Summit here in Accra, where stakeholders gathered to discuss building resilience in water, sanitation and hygiene systems. Our reporter, Noella Karinyale, has more in the following report.
Here at the Urata Hotels in Accra, government officials, industry experts and development partners are meeting under the theme Strengthening Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Resilience in the Face of Climate Change. Now, the summit put together by WaterAid Ghana in collaboration with the Ministry of State for Climate Change and Sustainability is also disseminating information on research work done on how vulnerable communities are coping with climate risk. The Climate Change Risk Vulnerability Assessment conducted across 5 districts in the Upper East region, including Boko, Bongo, Nabdam and Kasana-Nankana, revealed worrying outcomes for communities already grappling with erratic rainfall, water shortages and declining sanitation infrastructure. Program Manager for WASH and Climate at WaterAid Ghana, Engineer Richard Ntibri, highlighted these findings, stressing the urgent need for targeted interventions.
Actually, one, there are key gaps around infrastructure. The infrastructure we have in the areas of study are not resilient enough. When I say they are not resilient enough, they are designed to deliver water services, but when the impact of climate change hits, they are not able to sustain the service. Okay, so you have a latrine that would not be able to deliver, allow people to use when there's a flooding, because either access to the latrine is compromised, or even the toilet itself is filled with water. You have water systems that in the dry season are not able to deliver water to the people that are using it. So in that case, you have a wash system, but you don't have a climate resilient water system that will stand the test of time. when climate impact strikes. Yeah.
Minister of State for Climate Change and Sustainability, Honorable Isifu Seidu, outlined his ministry's vision for tackling climate change, pledging stronger actions to safeguard water and sanitation systems nationwide.
Building on this foundation, I have set forth a clear vision to establish a climate change and sustainability hub, a center of excellence that coordinates research, policy, innovation, ensuring that knowledge from initiatives like Wash for Climate informs national planning and global advocacy. To institutionalize climate change and sustainability units across ministries, departments, agencies, metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies. These units will mainstream climate action into every sector of our economy. What we are doing currently in our ministry is to make sure that we're able to cross the dots from all the ministries, because climate change affects almost all ministries that we have in Ghana, the 22 ministries and beyond.
He also called for a united front amongst African leaders in pushing for debt relief mechanisms, which he believes are crucial for funding climate action on the continent.
We all know that these effects that we're grappling with is not the cause of we in the developing countries. It is a function of somebody in far away somewhere in the globe attempting to develop their nations. And we in vulnerable countries, we in West Africa, are now grappling with the consequences of somebody developing his country somewhere. So why do we go into capital market, into bond markets to raise money to be able to build community resilience? Somebody must be responsible for that. So I want to use this opportunity to champion that we need to have one common voice as Africans. We need to have a voice that will speak to the initiative of developing climate debt forgiving mechanism that will help developing countries that are worse hit because somebody has developed his country. It is important for us to begin to speak this language and work towards it and fight for it. It is part of climate justice.
Stakeholders here agree that the fight against climate change cannot be won without resilient water, sanitation, best hygiene practices and systems. From the Wash for Change Summit here in Accra, I'm Noella Kareniali, and this is Joy News.
Interesting there. That's all we have time for here on the pause. But before we go, let's take you to myjoyonline.com. Look at our top stories there. To win 2028, we must not walk, just talk unity. We must live it. That from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as he urges the NPP. And this evening, Joy News hosts national dialogue on Ghana's opioid crisis tonight here on the Joy News channel. And Ghana, Singapore ready to chart a new path of prosperity. Ablakwa and many, many other stories making the headlines there on myjoyonline.com. Thank you so much for watching. I sat in for your regular host, Elton Brobe, and we'll catch you this evening at 7 p.m. Bye-bye.